The contents of this interview, or from Awake and Empowered Expo LLC from Ethan Fox and Flower of Life Center for Human Evolution, is for informational purposes only and does not necessarily reflect the viewpoints held by these organizations or individuals. Always consult with your doctor or health professional before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, or prescription drug use. Please understand that you assume all responsibility and risk for the use or misuse of this information.
Who are we speaking with?
St. Thomas.
Hello, St. Thomas. Do you have a message for the audience today?
We do, and we would like to first start off by saying there are many who have assembled, who are holding hands with all of you in this energetic space that we have created for not only the purpose of raising your vibration, but also for the purpose of assembling a one consciousness. And through this message, there will be an adjustment of your energy field in order to shift you in the direction of that one consciousness. Not as if you're not already there, we would say, because many of you who are light workers, who are listening to this message and who have gathered in this time, are of course holding a space where you are accessing universal energies and you are accessing the oneness and the connection we speak of. That oneness is now a part of all of us, and it is with the purpose of extending that energy that we are here. As we have gathered, and as we have mentioned previously, the energies are raising around you to bring together a collective vibration and a collective message that will be serving to all. We want to start by saying that many of you are aware that there is a new frequency or vibration that has been held upon your planetary space in recent months. And that, of course, is the impetus for you to begin to transition yourselves into a fifth dimensional reality. That fifth dimensional reality is one that will take, we would say, several years, if not many years, to accomplish as a one consciousness here. That is not said to place you in a state of fear or a state of disappointment, because many of you, we know, are ones who are wishing for this change to take place in an expedited fashion. And we would say that there is much patience that will be required by light workers in the coming years in order to transition all of you to a higher space. But we want to explain now how that space is being adjusted and how you hold the frequency as light workers to shift others through your energy body. We also want to discuss where many of you may be held back in these energies from moving forward in your own soul's growth and your own evolution as a singular being, because in essence that is still important here, and many of you are focused on the collective effort. And yes, we are pleased to know that you are, and we are in great support of that collective effort. But there is also a period of growth, we would say, that is going on individually for many light workers in this time. And that period of growth, you must understand, is essential to this collective raise of energy and frequency we speak of. So as we begin, we ask you to imagine your auric field in this time and how that auric field has been expanded through the most recent planetary alignment. That auric field, my friends, is not only unique to you, although there are aspects of your auric field that hold frequencies that are individual to your own vibration. There is a common thread amongst many in this time that are holding an expanded energy body as it is expressed in your auric field. We ask you to understand that those who come as healers, and we would say all of you as light workers are healers in essence, are now carrying a new genetic code. And that genetic code has been engaged by this most recent planetary alignment, through which you are now accessing additional support and information. That support and information is universal in nature, yes, but it is also individual to your own structure. Let us explain. We have spoken in past messages of the engagement of your higher self and the expansion of the chakra that is of the crown. That crown chakra is now what we would call equated to a portal access for you, meaning you are able to take in interdimensional information, and you are able to connect your soul with that interdimensional information. We have explained that many are accessing their timelines of past, present, and future. Some of you may be familiar with this as it is coming through very clear, either in your dream state or in your meditations. But others may be receiving this information as showing up for them in their physical world. As Lightworkers have been adjusting this frequency, and as they have been seeing their physical world beginning to shift, we're asking you to pay close attention to the things within your physical world that you are currently struggling with in order to resolve. In essence, oftentimes there is a resistant energy that is held to releasing the connection of three-dimensional people, places, and things, or the concrete aspects of your physical world. What we're asking you to do now is, through this current period of adjustment, where the energies have settled some, and where you have felt some adjustment in your frequency, right now is the time by which to evaluate these physical aspects of your reality and to understand how they are related to your multidimensional self. Let us give you some examples. Some of you may be struggling with relationships within your physical world. Those relationships are now severing or difficult or not congruent because there has been a shift in frequency. However, the reason you manifested these relationships in the first place was due to the fact that your individual or unique soul was in need of information or of an experience, an energetic experience, we would say. So although there's been a frequency shift planetarily and these relationships are now modifying and changing, it does not mean that your individual soul loses the lesson or loses the experience or loses the energy. And that is where this has felt quite chaotic for you, because you realize that in holding a new frequency, you must clear and step into a new energy. And many of you are ready to let go of these relationships or resolve them peacefully, we would say. But you're noticing that the peace is not coming. You're noticing that the energy is not resolving. That is where we ask you to focus your attention. This, my friends, is your indicator that you have a multidimensional aspect of self showing up for you to resolve. In this relationship, perhaps there is a past life soul tie. And that past life soul tie has been magnetized to your frequency in this time in order for you to resolve or serve that energy. That may be because your individual soul needed to learn this lesson and take that information into this new timeline or this new reality that you're ready to embark upon. Or, my friends, it could be that the individual that is attracted to you is needing of a lesson or universal information that they must take upon their journey. We would say each connection you have is dual-faceted in some way. You are either healing that connection at this time, or you are resisting the healing of that connection in this time. Through the resistance of that healing, you are not serving the energy that was meant to be integrated through the experience. So as light workers, we would like you to understand that this recent integration and frequency shift was, of course, to allow you to expand your energies and your auric field out to another and connect as a one consciousness. but it was also to speed up your own ascension process in a sense. Meaning, the karmic relationships or the multidimensional aspects of self that are standing out to you in this moment are ones that you chose to bring into this current incarnation for great purpose. Some of you may be experiencing relationships where there has been a communication breakdown, yes? And perhaps that communication breakdown is causing you anxiety or feelings of lower vibration or anger or stress. As you are recognizing those lower vibrational frequencies in relationship to these others, we would say, the way that you are able to resolve that energy is by stepping into the new frequency that you hold as a healer. It is now your assignment or your responsibility to bring healing to all of the aspects of your physical world that are three-dimensional and no longer serving you. Some, though, are not making the free will choice to do this, and they are not recognizing where they are placing an energy of lower vibration or resistance around the release of these things. This is where we wish for Lightworkers to focus their attention in this time, in identifying those relationships and bringing the highest aspect of love, the highest aspect of your new frequency to heal. What this means, my friends, is doing some work. It means allowing yourself to rise above where the mental body and the ego has placed the human race in many of their relationships of multidimensional nature. These multidimensional relationships that are showing up are here to serve your new frequency. So let us go back to the example of communication, where there has been a communication breakdown. The new frequency that you hold is asking you to open the heart chakra, to resonate higher, and to resolve that communication. Not just for that individual and not just for yourself, but for the improvement of the frequency that you are holding and for the advancement of the collective unison we speak of in the fifth dimension. Can you go into a fifth dimensional space with a lower vibrational stance in regards to communication? Well, we would say no, my friends, because in the fifth dimensional space, the frequency of love is what rules all communication. Whether that communication be third dimensional in nature, using your physical body, or whether that communication be telepathic in nature, as using your energy body. This is where we ask Lightworkers to pay attention to how they are bridging the gap between the third and fifth dimensions. And we understand that for you, the fourth dimensional space is one that is very uncomfortable. The reason for this is there is a duality going on between the higher chakras and the lower chakras. You signed up to come into this incarnation and into this physical reality and onto this planetary space as a physical grounded being. And as such, you must remember that aspect of yourself, and that aspect of yourself must remain a part of your energy body. But we've now engaged the higher chakras in a new way. Oftentimes, in engaging those higher chakras, there is a misunderstanding that this information is coming in to serve in egoic ways. It's coming in to serve in third dimensional ways. We're not accusing Lightworkers of making bad choices here. We're just helping you to understand where integrating these energies and balancing them and coming into harmony with them is so important. Think of yourselves as holding this new fifth dimensional frequency already. And in holding it, there's a balance that you must come in line to in every interaction that you have in your physical world. You bring the fifth dimension to the third in this way. So those that are around your energy field, those who are still within your physical space, whether they be family members, friends, or partnerships, relationships of physical nature. Some of them may be making the free will choice to not bring harmony and balance and a love frequency to this space. You are here in order to bring it for them, you see. You are not here to match their frequency. And this is where Lightworkers are feeling the imbalance between the lower and higher chakras, is they know that there is a new place to go. They know that there is a better and higher frequency to hold. They know that there is much change that they wish to see made on the planet. But the physical reality and the facts, we would say, in front of them show quite different. And as this can be very frustrating for Lightworkers, we say that the energy that you bring to that third dimensional aspect of your world is the potential to change it and shift it. Does that necessarily mean that it will shift or change for that individual? I would say no, because we all have a free will choice in how we adapt and integrate these energies and how we choose to ascend through our soul's journey. But in bringing the fifth dimensional energy to the third dimensional aspect of your life, you are the healer. And you begin to sever the cords that are holding you tied to lower vibrational energies. We started out speaking about the auric field, and we want to explain that a bit more. As human beings, you have an individual structure, and that individual structure has a genetic code. And some of you are holding genetic codes that are predisposed to certain races, that are predisposed to assignments on this planet. They're all unique to you. As you have begun to engage those genetic codes, there is an aspect of yourself that is now blossoming within this energy. That has allowed your auric field to reach out and expand to new information. Because every time a part of your DNA or genetic basis is triggered and enlightened by a planetary alignment or a solar interaction, you've now expanded your field. Meaning you are taking in more information that is not only beneficial to you, but beneficial to every human being. Through your auric field expansion, your heart chakra is fulfilling that energy. Many of you may be familiar with the torus shape and how the torus shape is a central part of how energy is flowing and always engaging and neutralizing on your planet. It is a basis for all creation, yes? The basis for all creation through your energy field comes from that resonant heart chakra energy, and that torus shape is always engaged through the chakras. But now that the recent planetary alignment has triggered you in this way, your heart chakra is wide open to that flow of energy, not only within your own field, but in the field of another, within the field of your planetary Gaia space. The goal here, my friends, is for every human being to be in unison with that toroidal flow. meaning you all come together as one auric field, as one toroidal flow, as one heart chakra in unison, connected to another. We have talked about this quite often and imagine how collective decisions could be made based on the reuniting of the human energy as one. Could there be wars on this planet? Well, not if a lower vibration is held within that auric field. Could there be health problems on this planet? Not if it was the intention of this toroidal flow of a one-centered human consciousness to be in perfect health. You can take that understanding of that consciousness as one and use it to your advantage right now in this fourth dimensional space. Because essentially, what you are doing in this integration is you are forging the very genetic basis for energy to flow in this way in your own auric field so that you can connect to others and heal this one consciousness as it has been severed. Look to where you begin to bring the energy to your third dimensional relationships and experiences, and how that energy begins to heal and shift your own vibration and field of attraction. That is where you're headed with this, you see. Yes, you have engaged this new energy. Yes, you have had a genetic upgrade or re-illumination. Yes, your auric field has been expanded and your higher and lower chakras have been engaged. And yes, you can balance to that. But the balancing to that requires the remembrance that you must have some effort in that interaction. That effort is not your spiritual ascension and your reliance upon your guides, teachers, and masters to give you the answer. It is the energy that you bring to every part of your physical world. You have a choice now. You can allow that heart chakra to resonate at such a high frequency through your chakra fields. There's a toroidal flow that you can engage, and you can bring that higher vibration as a healer to that relationship or that problem as you see it, that stressor in your life that is needing to be relieved. As you do that, you have now shifted your energy to a new vibration. You're now flowing with a connection to Source. We speak often of your planetary being a living, breathing, motherly essence. We often speak of the toroidal flow and the auric field of Mother Gaia. That is what you are, and you are connected to her. Use that now as you have integrated these energies to resolve the rest of the karmic lower vibrations you carry. Those lower vibrations often seem as if they are something unseen or something that you cannot control. They are actually the multidimensional expressions or timelines that are showing up for you to heal with your own free will choice and decision, to heal with the energy that you bring, to heal with the new and expanded version of who you have become. As you begin to do that, you will see that these connections will better solidify for you the lower chakras, the higher chakras, the integration of the self. The work that you're doing now in this current physical incarnation is benefiting every single race, all of the universal energies, and every timeline that you have been associated with. On a deeper level, you know that. It is not about that one thing in front of you that you cannot control or bring yourself to terms with. That one thing that's standing in front of you that is holding you back is showing up as a multidimensional expression of the karma you're purging on behalf of it all. And when you do, you begin to bring in more light, more experiences, more information, and more understanding. And that is where we are headed in a fifth dimensional consciousness.
We have a few questions from the audience. I've been experiencing so many of the examples you shared from your personal story, and I'm not really sure where to begin. I am a light worker. Can you offer some advice?
Yes, we are pleased. Jeremiah steps in to answer this question and is very pleased. Many of you who have been engaged by the recent planetary alignments are standing at varying levels or varying degrees of consciousness. Many of you who are considering the fact that you may be light workers now have had a genetic upgrade as well. Holding this energy does not require a definition that is substantial to the name Lightworker. And if you need one, we would say that all we consider Lightworkers to be are ones who are united as a full consciousness of light and connected to a one source. Every human being upon the planet has the ability to step into light work in their current incarnation. Does that mean that they all will? Well, no, my friends. As a light worker who is standing within your energy body right now, the ones who are considering that they may have bigger things to do on this planet and are now remembering that part of themselves, have just engaged a beautiful journey. Light work, my friends, is very simple. It's about holding the light through joy. Every light worker within their individual energy body has a plan or an assignment or an expression of creation that they came here to give. That creative expression of energy is your source of joy in the world. So the first bit of advice we would give you is to let all of the things that have been programmed into your energy body as the things you are meant to do or supposed to do as a human being upon this planet, to let those things fall aside for some time, or allow the importance of those things to fall aside for some time, and focus on the remembrance of who you are through joy. Perhaps that means, as one that has been recently engaged as a light worker, you must go back to your childhood years and remember, as a child, what were the things that brought you a sense of freedom and peace and love? What were the things that brought you alive in the world? That is all we ask light workers to do, is to become alive in this world. The reason for this, as many of you know, is there is a lower vibrational consciousness that is present and dominant upon your planet. And that lower vibrational consciousness is creating through fear. It is creating through frustration. It is creating through losses of freedom and losses of peace within the human structure. In order for you to be the healer that you are and step into the light work that you came here to do, you must allow yourself access to joy. Many human beings who are just awakening are finding this very difficult. This is because, my friends, that joy has been stolen from you in essence. You have been taught or programmed to believe that you do not deserve peace and freedom. You do not deserve the beauty of self-expression. You are not allowed to choose the way that you decide to create in this world. We are here to tell you that as an incarnate soul in this time, who has awakened to a new energy, you are aligned with Source in such a way that you are here to create through your own joy. So many light workers are focused on service, and we are in much appreciation of that focus on service because, of course, you are here to serve. But it must be serving through your own connection to love, joy, and peace. And can you begin to serve if you don't have the connection to that vibration? Well, no, my friends, because if you are a light worker who is focused in the mental body, who is making a plan of how to serve in the world, that is the wrong direction for you to begin. We would like for you to let go of that aspect of service for a while and focus on service to self. Many feel as if this would sound very self-serving or egoic and difficult to imagine that a collective consciousness would tell you to focus on self. But you have to, you see. You have to, because that is how you begin to find the essence of who you are to create through. And we know that many of you have lost that essence of who you are. We know that you were taught and raised to step away from that true essence of who you are and to connect as a one consciousness that is taught who to be. So as a light worker in this time who has begun to awaken to these new energies, we ask you to go to the place where you most feel joy. Remember the place that fuels your creativity and do that. Because through doing that, you are automatically serving. And the service and the assignment will come. But it will not come on a path that is disassociated from peace, love, and joy. So find the peace, love, and joy first, and then step into the essence of service.
You've spoken on a lot of occasions about couples going through challenges in their relationships as a result of the shift in consciousness that has occurred in recent months. What advice can you give, for example, in this situation where a girlfriend and boyfriend have broken up? What advice can you give them?
St. Thomas steps back in for this question. First, we would like you to understand that as there is a connective energy or force between two souls, there is always purpose. So have you ever made a mistake in your choice to be with another in a relationship or an essence of love? We would say there is never a mistake, my friends, because there is a plan that your soul holds, that you incarnate with. And that plan, in essence, has an energetic basis. And that energetic basis is aligned with your frequency. So do you have a free will choice in whether you decide to have a relationship with someone or whether you choose to sever that relationship? We would say your free will choice comes from your alignment to your dominant frequency. Let us explain. You are attracting souls magnetically to your energy every single day. Those souls are magnetically attracted for many reasons, whether that be your soul's evolution or purpose, whether that be a past life karmic energy that must be resolved, or whether that is just simply an alignment of frequency that you are to mutually learn or benefit from. As such, if you are holding a lower vibrational dominant frequency, meaning you're at a place in your life where you're feeling less desirable, less hopeful, angry, fearful, disillusioned, you're going to attract the individuals or the relationships that match that frequency. Or the relationships that you have around you will balance to that frequency. That is how your free will choice is engaged in any relationship. Now, in saying this, we want you to remember that there has been a most recent engagement of a planetary and solar alignment that has shifted your frequency. It has raised your frequency, yes, and it has shifted your DNA genetic basis, yes, to a higher version of you. However, that new version of you is still dominantly relying on your vibratory stance in order to manifest and attract. We'll explain this in more detail. We have often said that your emotional body is the key point of attraction, where many have been focused on the mind. And the mind is a part of this, yes, because your thoughts can have a very dire effect on your emotions and your vibrational frequency. If you are telling yourself things are bad, your frequency or your emotions will feel very bad and radiate out in a lower stance. Now, through this most recent engagement of energy, you've upgraded your DNA, you've upgraded your frequency, so things around you must begin to also match this new frequency. But as human beings that are still in a fourth dimensional transitory space, you are attracting magnetically and dominantly through your emotional vibration or frequency. So this relationship that is causing you a problem is beginning to show up for you as something that may be falling away, for example. And through the mental body, you are attaching to lower vibrations and you are accusing this person or this other in your relationship of doing something wrong, or perhaps not serving you the way that he should or she should have. In doing that, you are creating a resistance to allowing that relationship to resolve the way it was meant to through the new frequency that you hold. In other words, the relationship could quite possibly change in order to remain intact with the new frequency that you hold. Or the relationship may be ready to fall away, and you must bring the new frequency to that relationship in order to peacefully and lovingly resolve it. So many Lightworkers are struggling right now with relationships as a dominant focal point of their transition. Instead of focusing on the relationship, and instead of getting into the mental body and trying to work out within your mind what has gone wrong here and who is to blame, focus on how the mental body is making you feel, how your thoughts are making you feel about the relationship. And remember that holding the space of love and peace within your emotional body allows you to look at this relationship in a different light. Perhaps it means that you have so much love for this person that you can forgive the fact that they didn't serve you in the way that you felt you should have been served. Or perhaps you have so much new love frequency and fifth dimensional energy within your fields that you can look this person in the eye and take them by the hand and say, we know that this has been difficult and a transition is needed. Or perhaps that energy will allow you to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for any pain that I have caused you, and I wish you nothing but the highest amount of joy and peace in this life. Through bringing that higher vibrational energy, through paying attention to your emotions in every interaction, that relationship will be resolved according to your soul. It will be resolved according to the new frequency that you hold, and it will change and shift in the way it was meant to, based on this most recent integration. That is how we are asking Lightworkers to resolve any of these difficult and karmic situations.
Can you tell us about the company Monsanto? Should we be concerned that they will eventually control the world food, and will all food end up being genetically modified?
We would say no. First, we would like to address the company you speak of, and then we will address the issue. We want you to understand that the basis for every creative energy or every action or interaction on your planet is energy. You are energy, companies are energy, food is energy, structures are energy. Anytime that there is a collective energy that has a dominant vibratory weight, there is a creative force that is released and must result in an action. We've often spoken of your government agencies or of your royalty or of families within these transmissions. We ask that you think of this company as very similar in nature, a collective consciousness with a lower dominant vibration. That lower dominant vibration is being penetrated and being expanded by a lower vibrational consciousness of extraterrestrial nature. That is not to put you in a state of fear or a state of lower vibration yourself, we would say. This is part of the problem we will expand on in a moment. But this lower vibrational consciousness that you call Monsanto is a part of the vibratory action and interaction on your planet of human nature that has been disassembled as a one consciousness, that has been accessed by a lower vibrational race that is trying to modify your planet to their own liking, we would say. Now, in saying this, we want you to understand that it is very easily shifted and changed. And as such, in the coming 5 years, we would say, there will be a complete and total reversal of this energy and the way that your food is modified on this planet. We understand as Lightworkers, it looks very hopeless in this area because, especially in the geographic region that many of you are residing in, the dominant lower vibration of this company has been mirrored in the food that you are eating. Again, we would say there is no difference between a genetically modified food or a consciousness of war. It is all the same. Lightworkers in this time have come forward in order to raise their vibration above where these lower vibrational entities can create. So the only way to shift and change this is by creating through your energy field the higher vibrational aspect that you wish to see manifested on your planet in very high or expanded amounts. For example, Lightworkers connecting to the energy of the earth and seeding it with higher vibrational sources would be the best way to combat this problem. Does that mean a collective effort should be focused on planting and figuring out and getting into the mental body about how we do this across the country? We would say no, that's not necessarily needed. But what is needed is the disassembly of this lower vibrational consciousness And what you must know is there are many light workers that are attaching themselves to this lower vibrational consciousness without understanding, and their intentions are quite different. They are attempting to allow others on the planet to understand. They are attempting to announce to others on the planet what is happening here, the truths of the matter. And yes, the truths must come out, and there are some on your planet who are here to expand the minds and the truths of others to awaken them. But when you begin to create a lower vibrational stance in response to a lower vibrational consciousness, all you are doing is expanding a dominant vibration. Let us explain. If you are ones who are denouncing this company, if you are ones who are constantly bringing groups together in a vibrational state of fear or anger around this issue, all you are doing is expanding the vibration of fear and anger. Because at its very core, the company Monsanto and the creative results of that energy are lower vibrational in nature. So to make this very simple, we would say balance on your planet Earth is always the goal. Balance of higher and lower vibration equates to harmony. So instead of denouncing this company, instead of creating anger and fear, use your creative energy to its highest intent through love, frequency, and through your intention for peaceful result. Do the opposite of what this consciousness is doing. This lower vibrational consciousness we speak of, they want to create through the lower vibrations of fear, anger, sorrow, hopelessness, and defeat. Why? Because they must. It is the only way that they can access energies on your planet. The only way to combat that is to do the opposite. To create through love, to create through joy, to create through peace, to create through harmony. That is how we would say you would serve the disconnection of this consciousness.
Could we speak with the highest consciousness available to us today, please? Who are we speaking with?
Council of Light.
Thank you. Could you answer the question, was there once a time in the history of the planet when there was a water vapor canopy that surrounded the planet and maintained a comfortable temperature around the world and balanced weather patterns and also increased lifespans? And if so, what happened to that, and will we have something similar in the future?
Yes, we are pleased to explain. First and foremost, we would say that water vapor in itself is the essence of energy of your planetary body as well as of the universal collective. So in the essence of a water droplet, there is every bit of the universe contained in its balance to source. As such, it is the beginning of creation. It is the basis for all energetic creation. Now, the structure that you are talking about, or the lining or the permeable space that you're talking about surrounding your planetary energy, we would say it is unique to each galaxy, it is unique to each energy body, it is unique to each planetary space. It must be harmonious to the energies being held. Let us explain. Is there a water vapor or a water essence that is universal in nature and that is 13th dimensional, that holds all information and all light? Yes, most definitely there is. Could that water structure exist in its entirety and in its perfect form upon your planetary space in this time? It could not, because of the difference in weight and the difference of dimension. considered a part of the Mother Earth Gaiac space. Now, was there ever a time that the universe was one with this conceptual water genetic basis? We would say yes, and there is evidence of that, yes. And that, I want to say what they're showing me as a channel. What I'm seeing is almost like what would look like the Milky Way, and there is, it almost looks like a droplets in a field of one where they are. But it's not covering all. It's almost like it floats individually within space, and that is always there to draw upon. And the goal of your planetary space is to equate to restructure itself back to that space. So we use the word structure, and it's very important because many on your planet have come to realize that water can be structured in such a way to hold this genetic basis that you speak of, or this perfection, or this universal essence. And as such, it can hold that frequency. But it must be, there are ancient sites that hold it underground, that have preserved it from its universal basis. But in essence, the water on your planet has been changed and modified through, yes, lower vibrational sources, especially through the modification of your air, especially through the modification of your soil, and especially through, there is a very big connection of the sun's magnetic rays to polarize this water. And that is not currently being accessible, or is not accessible to your planetary being. Will this be reversed, and can it be used and reversed through your ascension process? We would say it will take many years. But knowing that there are sources upon your planet of this water, it can be used to assist in reforming collective pools of energy where this water is maintained. And it can be used by human beings to restructure the genetic basis of their core. There are many races who have had an understanding or an access to this field. And what I feel I'm getting is it was destroyed really through what looks like to me to be some type of planetary movement or alignment that was in disharmony. And this was many, many millenniums ago. So this isn't something that happened recently. And in that shift of alignment of the planets and of universal energies, this pool became smaller. Whereas it used to be universal, covering all access to races, to planets, to galaxies, it's become more concentrated, and it's very concentrated in one location. So it's important that there's a protection around that. There is a protection around that by 12th dimensional beings. And the knowledge of that water is being telepathically exchanged by many on your planet. It's being used. There are a lot of light workers on your planet that understand the concept of that structure of that molecule of that water and are trying to replicate or duplicate it through their energy field, through clearing practices and capturing it from ancient sources and replicating it, we would say. And sometimes this can be beneficial and sometimes it is not. But the basis for what you speak of is the basis for structuring of water. And if you're structuring water on this planet in artificial containers, it will have the same result as what you are looking for. But Natural water sources on the planet are affected by lower vibrational energies in the core of Mother Earth. They're affected by the sun is supposed to give this planet an equal balance of resonant energy that is not currently being achieved. And there are many lower vibrational, I want to feel like it's heavy, dense energies that are causing that water to not be able to be held. So when you structure that water, the goal is to hold it, right? And that is the problem that's happening right now in the planetary space. However, we want to talk to the future, and we want to say that as a part of fifth dimensional ascension, self-healing is going to be an aspect in which this area will be addressed, because the water within the human structure is a part, or has always been a part of that creation, of that beginning, of that molecule. It began there. So through the fifth dimensional energy, you're going to begin to understand where it's going to start in the human body. And as soon as it starts in the human body and there is a one consciousness that is formed and held, many of these things that are blocking these energies are going to go away. And I feel like whatever's being protected and held together as a smaller portal of this water will be able to be released and expanded. I feel like it's almost being protected right now. It's being protected from not only the lower vibrations on this planet, but from other races that are not in harmony with each other. And there have been some dimensional wars or some I want to say disagreement over this resource. And it is not just natural to humans, it's natural to all races.
Did dinosaurs once exist in this physical dimension, and were they in fact more animalistic, or did they possess a higher consciousness similar to or different from human beings?
We would say it was not a dimensional reality of third nature that these species were present, but yes, it was a dimensional reality, we would say, of there is a ninth dimensional link between this species and many others. So as such, there was an energy that was present on your planet that was quite different than what there is now. And that energy has been modified or changed. And many of the animals that you see on this planet still hold a similar genetic code to these species. And this code can be triggered in such a way by dimensional shifts, by solar shifts, by planetary shifts. That is why oftentimes you will see animals go extinct and then come back again in full. It is not having to do so much with their environment and their food and their water as it has to do with frequency and dimensional realities that can be held on your planet. So as there was a dimensional shift on your planet away from higher energies, these beings, we would call them, were modified genetically. And as they were modified genetically, many did not continue on. They were not able to survive. Their species was not able to survive because the energies became too dense and heavy. And you might think, well, these were dense and heavy beings. And we would say, as a matter of fact, they were very light in nature. They held a very grounded aspect to your planet, meaning when your planetary being was formed, the intention, of course, and as it still is today, was there was a connection to her core. There was everything created through her. And these beings in particular held a very distinct energy or connection to her vibration. And there was a mutually beneficial interaction between these beings and her evolution. They served this planet in a very important way. And we would even say that the planetary space prior to these beings being apart was more 12th dimensional in nature. And some of these races were modified even further in the lowering of the dimensional reality on this planet from the 12th to the 9th. As such, these animals held also a connection to outer reality and telepathic exchange, and many animals still hold that genetic predisposition as they were modified from that state.
So is it reasonable to assume that these were a peaceful species and highly conscious, or should we assume, based on our scientists' rendition of them being hostile, animalistic, cannibalistic race?
Yes, there were both. So in this race in particular, and you must understand, we will mirror the human race as an example, yes, and the human race has a variety of different genetic mixtures. As you are unique as a human being, you hold a genetic code that is unique to you. You hold extraterrestrial DNA, you hold interdimensional DNA, you hold all of it, yes. You are affected differently through your energy field by shifts, by your soul's interaction with its own assignment. And as such, every race is similar in this way. Now, as this race ascended, we would say it started as a very peaceful race. However, there is always a yin and a yang, there is always a light and a dark. And as your planet was interrupted by lower vibrational sources of outside nature, so meaning at this time, your planetary being was not accessed by the same lower vibrational consciousness we would say is present now. But there was a disagreement or a disharmony between this race and an alternate race. I feel some reason Syrian is what I'm getting. And as such, there was some genetic modification that took place through lower vibrational activities. And as such, these beings were modified. Some were modified based on their rate of genetic code it was through their energy field and through their energy bodies. So the answer is yes and no. There was a predisposition to this race being peaceful, but this race was modified as well to some that were peaceful and some that were holding a lower dominant genetic.
Tell us more about the Syrian extraterrestrial race. Are they benevolent or malevolent? What's their consciousness level?
Well, we would say that the Syrian race is not necessarily a lower vibrational consciousness, and that is not what we would like human beings to believe. Syrians are very participatory in the ascension of your planet. However, there is a dominant consciousness within their race that is very similar to your own, and that dominant consciousness is looking at your planetary space as one that can be used for research, that can be used for integration of many races as a survival means for some that are looking for a new home. They are dimensional in nature of varying degrees, meaning they can hold a dominant DNA genetic that would allow them to visit this planetary space, but it would not be congruent to them being able to live in this planetary space. They are in a dimensional reality mainly of sixth dimension as a collective congruent race, just as you are moving through a transitory fourth dimensional unstable space. They are also in somewhat of a dimensional integratory unstable space as a one consciousness. But there are some of higher dimension, there are some of higher intention that are working with us in order to ascend your planet, in order to keep the universal harmony, in order to allow all human beings to live as one connective race to every dimensional race in peace. And as such, we are pleased to allow them this access to the council. as well as to other collectives that are serving. Most important, they are very interested in the genetic basis for healing and how the genetic basis has been changed on your planet. And there are many Syrians who feel as if the energy of your food has been a part of your genetic basis that has been dominant. And as such, they are looking into ways to change and modify and solve this. But some of them have had a hand in research projects we would say are not conducive to the way we would see a peaceful resolution take place. And there are many who are accessing human genetics, and there are hybrids that are walking upon your planetary space as well.
Tell us about dolphins. Is their consciousness higher than human beings, or just different in some way? A lot of human beings believe that dolphins are highly evolved creatures.
Yes, we would say most definitely they are, and they are telepathic in nature as well. We would call them ninth dimensional beings, very similarly related to the Lemurian and Arcturian energy, and are holding a space for the expansion of your universe. They are peaceful beings. We would call them not fish, as you would like to call them, aquatic fish. We call them higher beings of light. We call them a collective consciousness that is raising your vibration. And we would say, in particular, they have a direct link to the frequency of your planetary space, in that they are very sensitive to that inner frequency or that inner code, and are always allowing the resonant energy of their bodies to harmonize to that code, which is very similar to where we see the human race going as a one consciousness. So yes, they are here in assistance.
Why are there two different gods in the Bible, one that's a vengeful God and one that's a loving God? And is there any relationship between those two, if they're in fact two different beings, to the two gods in the Anunnaki race called Enki and Enlil?
Well, it is all conceptual in that there is a part of every human structure that holds a DNA genetic that is a light and dark, or a yin or a yang, meaning you are the God. Yes, you are the one God, and the goal is to merge the two into one. And you might say, well, why as a human being would I want to merge a light and a dark aspect of self? I would only want to hold the light. And we would say the basis for this understanding is that you hold an aspect of your being in order to prefer, in order to understand and break information down into light frequency, in order to serve the planetary energies, in order to become one with all of it. And in order for you to center and harmonize to the one source, to the God center, we would say, you must hold both of those sides of self in high regard, and you must merge them as in an understanding of the one. Now, many relate to this story as related to the Anunnaki. We would say that this is false, that there is a part of your history that is being misunderstood. And in that history, there is a story, yes? And that story is one that there was two separate gods, one of light, one of dark. Well, those gods, in essence, are the split between the ego. And the split of the ego is the story as it has been told. The human race was never meant to use the ego through the mind. The ego through the mind must be present in the story in order for you to be able to interpret energies within your world. There is a dominance of that understanding. There is a dominance of that side of the human race. When in essence, the ancient scribes talk about the taming of the ego, the absorption of the ego, the integration of the dark, the understanding that it must be present in order to serve through the light. And that is what we wish to say about this.
Could you speak to Mary Magdalene, please? Hello, Mary. A lot of parents, and in particular mothers, struggle with what's the right way to raise their children, especially nowadays with a lot of children being highly conscious who are coming into the world. Can you offer some advice as to how best to parent our children, and how much is too much parenting as well?
We would say allow them to raise you. They are coming here with this higher rate of speed. They are coming here with this beauty of inner soul. They are benefiting from all the work that you are doing here. It is not gone to waste. Every time a child is born upon this planetary being of love, it holds the new frequency that you are wanting to achieve. This child has the open chakra fields that you are always trying to attain, but yet in teaching the child how to behave and what to do and what to prefer and what to like and how to create, you're closing the very energy fields that come open wide, that bring joy and love into this planetary being. What we're asking you to do, although we know many parents struggle with discipline and keeping children in line, of course we would say that there must be rules and there must be somewhat of a behavioral expectation. It doesn't mean that children are meant to be taught the way. It's not meant that they're supposed to be shown who they are. We would say the best course of action is to allow them to be, allow them the freedom to be, keep them in an expanded state of energy, and allow them to grow and create through the energy that they bring, instead of closing that energy off. This planetary space is beginning to undergo an incredible time in which there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity for these children to begin to bring the new ideas into this world and allow them to transform the lower vibrational aspects of the world that have held many back. We would say allow them the freedom to do that.
Could you offer an inspirational message to close our session today, please?
Yes, we would say we have been very pleased to forge this energy field with all of you, and we ask that you remember that you have been one with this energy through this message. And as your energy body has been shifted, the new frequency that you're holding is one directly related to love. And as you take that out into the world, we ask that you give it to others and share it along your way. And we say many blessings.